Well, and this is Drew, right? Drew, are you thinking mostly about in terms of like an individual fight in a relationship? Like, is it time to move on from this fight? Or are you asking the question of how do I know if it's time to move on because the whole relationship feels too hard?
I would say the pattern of fighting, like the template. You're like, I've seen this before. How many times do I have to see this template before it's like, no, something deeper needs to change or needs to move on?
Good question.
Yeah. And I'm curious, Drew, is this a pattern that you're seeing within a specific relationship, or is it a pattern that you notice there's sort of the same thing coming up in with you as the common factor in different relationships?
Well, I'd like to say it's this one relationship where I feel like the other person regresses a bit into her little girl kind of state when times get tough.
Okay. So I think Drew's getting at what is a question in kind of every fight and every relationship. You already teed it up for us, Drew, which is, what's going on underneath it. You've kind of said it in a different way, which is like, is it worth getting at what's going on underneath it?
Right.
And I'm finding myself hard-pressed to imagine a scenario in which it's not worth it to get at what's underneath it. I guess my default in relationships has sort of been like, I can work anything out. I can deal with anything. We can solve anything. It's really just a matter of how much work am I willing to put in it and what are the goodies on the other side of it. Now, if you're with somebody that you can't see enough goodies coming out of that really difficult work of figuring out what's going on with a fight, if you sense that your values are different or, even if you resolve this one thing, it's not it's just not worth the cost of that. That's something totally different. But I just always think it's fascinating to figure out what's really going on with me as someone's got something going on with them and how the two are interacting. So I'm inclined to want to invest more, too much sometimes.
I agree with that. And I'd love to hear a little bit more about what the pattern is, Drew, that you see repeating, that you want to get under.
Yeah, let's see. Because I want to be fair, of course. I would say it's this person's perhaps unfinished business affecting her ability to be present in an argument or discussion or fight or something, so that like I feel like there can't be there's no progress, or it feels like there can't be discussion. Like the emotional unfinished business takes over her ability to look at things maybe a little more even on an even keel.
Okay. Yeah. And as men and women, we have different ways of withdrawing from an argument and different responses to a partner withdrawing. So this is really interesting. It sounds like maybe you're getting kind of I don't know for sure if you're getting someone who's kind of directly stonewalling and saying, I'm not going to go there, I don't want to do this, or if it's just more like you're getting kind of the blank passive, not going to engage kind of response. What's kind of the character of that?
Definitely the second one.
Okay. And
definitely
what
I'd say the second one.
Yeah. And so what happens with you when that's what the person you're dealing with is giving you?
I think what I hear back is that I'm being too logical or analytical, or that I'm not there's an energy shift with me in the sense that she doesn't feel like I'm hearing her or in a place to, hear her or be with her.
Yeah. So in some other Blog Talk universe, she's telling some other set of hosts, he's really not present with me in our fights. Probably.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think you're totally right.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm just noticing, even right now, Drew, it's hard for me to know how to coach you in this because I don't have a complete grasp on it. And I think this is actually about presence too. If I were calling in with this question, the way that I would phrase it would be like, So here's the fight that happens. You know, I say something I don't like about the house, and then she sort of glazes over a little bit. She's not necessarily making eye contact. She's not talking much. And then I, you know, start saying like kind of mean things back at her. You feel how that's sort of like it's present and you can know what's going on when I say that?
For sure. I can share more, I think, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm happy to, if that works.
Well, and if I can just hypothesize, if it's a conversation you've already had about you being logical in the face of whatever her complaint is, I can sort of imagine you not wanting to go into like, here's the point by point, you know, whatever. So it's, I'm guessing that you've learned sort of new tools, you know, lately in your journey to be more emotionally aware and present, and you're in kind of just like that new skin sort of phase of like trying those things on. And I guess,
Absolutely. There's something to that, me engaging in new ways with some of my new tools. And so she's seeing a new part of me. I also don't, if I feel like I do try and be too poignant with some of those tools, I sense that she feels that sort of strength, and that's where I think that's where I feel like she may regress a little bit into kind of pulling back or withdrawing in a way that makes it really hard to get back in there. Like, oh, how about I come over and we meet face to face? She'd be like, no, I don't feel like we're in the same space. So, and then it would be something like, well, but I hate how we argue, and like, so, but there was no way out. I feel trapped. I feel like there's nothing I can possibly do to get like forward. Anything.
This feels familiar to me. I mean, just very, very much kind of ripped from the headlines of my recent experiences. And I guess in the spirit of kind of some of the recent work we've been doing around the foundation, just in terms of your development, it sounds like you may need to exercise a more masculine pole of power and just say, look, that's fine. You could not want to talk, but the consequence is going to be that this is going to fizzle. Like if I haven't heard from you within 24 hours and we don't deal with this, you know, I'm unwilling to continue, or, you know, like just this is like this isn't going to work for me. This isn't how I want to be in relationship. Something I found myself saying is like, this doesn't even feel like a relationship. You know, like to meet a minimum criteria of a relationship, you're going to have to talk to me. And it's like a basic thing, but I think that's one of the hardest things when we're all out there like putting ourselves out and see me, love me, affirm me. You don't want to say those things that are going to possibly get somebody to be like, you're right, I don't want to do that, or I don't want you enough to do this thing that's uncomfortable. But that's really what it comes down to is, what's your standard, Drew?
Well, when I trot that out, it kind of that gets traction, like you say, but so that will, it's like, okay, so like space for maybe 24 hours or whatever, and then next time we were like re-engaging, now there's this idea that now I've like contributed to her hurt because I've like piled on this waiting game to it. It's like, it's like it feels like a more sophisticated way I'm getting like trapped. So I'm like, damn it. Does that make sense?
Well, I'm not sure I understand the getting trapped.
Well, okay, so like you said, I'd be like, well, we have to talk. Like I can't see myself in a relationship where when there's a fight or something, I can't come over, but yet I'm getting accused of arguing and only being on the phone. Like I can't be in a relationship like that. We have to be serious about moving past that or whatever. And let's see. And then so time passes 24, like 1 or 2 days, and then the moment we're back into the moment that temperatures rise again, I feel like I get blame or shamed for that I'm leaving her in a hurt place or a sad place for that extended period of time.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I don't know what to do with that.
Ah,
Yeah.
okay.
Well, one thing that I'm hearing, Drew, though, is that what you said wasn't the same thing as what Kate said about holding the pole. Did you hear a difference in sort of Kate's pole and your pole?
Yeah, that's a good question. Let me take that in.
Yeah.
I'm not sure then, I guess.
Right. Well, what Kate said was pretty much this is what I need as a minimum requirement for a relationship, and you can choose not to talk with me, and the consequence is that things are going to fizzle if I don't hear from you in 24 hours. It was much firmer, give or take the ultimatum that's in there with the 24 hours. It's a much firmer stance. And the reason, I've been bringing it back to your communication. The reason for that is that's the only thing that you can control. You can control who you are and how you are in this relationship. And if it's not one you want to be in, you can move on to the next relationship. But you're not trapped in it. There's no victim here.
Right.
And I think if you shift your own stance to say, do I want to be in this or do I not want to be in this? Here are the ways, if these conditions are met, I do want to be in it, and just hold from that place of, sort of rise out of the victimhood of it and see this is really, you will naturally hold that firmer pull. And if you don't get satisfied in this relationship, it'll be a practicing of that muscle, and you're much more likely to get satisfied in another relationship down the line.
I totally agree. And the other piece of the victimhood is you're describing someone who thinks that you telling your truth is some act of aggression or hurting her in a way. And, there are a lot of shades that we can look at on this, but my guess is you want to be with a more robust human being than that. That if you raise a complaint or a legitimate, situation in which you feel hurt, you don't want to be with someone who's going to resort to the kind of name-calling, victim-based approach of, you're escalating this again so that I feel hurt. It's like our perspective kind of from an existential standpoint is like, I don't hurt you. If I walk into Rachel's office and level some complaint, she doesn't get to say, oh, you hurt me so much. I was just opening my mouth and, sound waves hit her eardrums. And she reacted the way she reacted. And she gets to choose whether she's going to be like a robust human being who goes, ouch, what's true in that, what's not, or gets to be a little girl victim. She does the former, usually. She takes responsibility. And it sounds like that's what I would want in a relationship. And it sounds like that's the piece you're not getting. You're getting someone who's kind of in that blamey, victimizing herself space. And as Rachel said, the way to get out of the drama triangle, which is what we call this whole thing, is to take responsibility. To take no responsibility for that which is not your responsibility, and to take 100% responsibility for what is. So yes, you're the major variable. Reactions?
Yeah, that's good. That's great. I'm definitely taking that in, and I've kind of feel that at some level too. It's like that's this person acting this way is something that I kind of need them to move past as you described.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel a little bit validated. I feel validated and affirmed by those things that you're sharing. And I like Rachel. I think you pointed out the difference, the subtleties in what the things I'm saying and the stand I'm saying and the line I'm kind of making to make her responsible.
Yeah. Yeah.
Cool. Well, thank you so much, Drew. I'm looking forward to hearing about it. Will you call in and tell us how it goes?
Awesome. Thanks, y'all.
Yeah.
All right.
Wonderful.
Thanks, Drew.